Good morning, dear students. Let us start today's class with a small prayer. Lord Jesus, we surrender all children and their supporting hands into your heart. Bless them with your love and care and help us to provide healing hands and smiling face during their journey. Lord, make me as an instrument of your peace, love, and healing. Amen. Ave Maria. Look at the picture. See, it is a cross section of a heart where between the atria there is a passing of blood is shown. A red colored blood is coming from left to right, and the blue colored is going from right to left atria. So what is this? Okay, this defect is shown in a small picture, so you can see it clearly. This is the disorder which is known as ASD, atrial septal defect. In the last class, you have seen the development of the heart. In that, you have seen that the septum is forming in two parts as a two layer. So, if there is any incomplete development of the septum, what happens? It causes a lesion or a separation that is acting as a hole in future year. So ASD is an opening that is present between the atrial, right atrium and the left atrium. So atrial septal defect is a opening that is present in the atrial septum. Okay, it allows the oxygenated blood, okay, that you have seen as red blood, to pass from left atrium through the opening in the septum. Then it mixes with unoxygenated blood in the right atrium. So, okay, you have seen the pressure variation, the changes that occurring at the time of birth. Before birth, actually the right side of the heart has got more pressure. So that is why through the foramen ovale, blood moves from the right side of the heart to the left, right atrium to the left atrium. At birth, what happens? There is a pressure variation because of the development of the pulmonary tree. And after the birth, pressure in the left side of the heart is more than the pressure within the right side. So what happened now? The reverse shunt occur if ASD is present. Foramen ovale functionally will close soon after the birth. If it is not closing, it can act as a hole. Okay, that is a type. Okay, it is a very rare, but even though it can act as a type. So, atrial septal defect allows the oxygenated blood to pass from left side to the right side. Then mixing of the blood happen. Instead of going into the blood from the right side, left ventricle to the left through the aorta to the systemic circulation, some of the oxygenated blood is coming to the right side of the heart. It is causing trouble to the pulmonary tree and the right side of the heart. Okay. So during the fetal development, if the partition is not happening fully, then this opening will remain. Okay, that is how ASD is developing. Now let us see what is the definition. Atrial septal defect is an abnormal opening in the wall separating the right and the left atrium. So ASD is the abnormal opening which is present in the atrial septum. So it is one of the commonest condition. It occurs almost 17% among all congenital heart disorders. Okay, it is occurs 17% among all congenital heart defect. Now let us see the classification. Okay, there are many types of classification. Common one two classifications I have given. Classification according to the site where the defect is situated and according to the size. Now, according to the site where the location of the defect, we can divide it into 4. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, not 1, 2, 1, 2. First is ostium secundum. Okay, so secundum means it is somewhere middle. So where it is situated? It is situated at the middle of the atrial septum. Ostium secundum is a atrial septal defect that is present at the middle of the atrial septum. Now, what is patent foramen ovale? I told you, normally the foramen ovale functionally it will close soon after the birth. But it may take some time. It may take up to few weeks to 1 month for the anatomical closure. Even though anatomically there is a opening, but it does not allow the shunting of blood from the left side to the right side. What happen if it is remaining patent and if it is allows shunting? Only then we will call it as patent foramen ovale. Functionally, it will close soon after the birth, but it will take anatomical closure. Usually, it will take for some more month. Okay, it will take from few weeks to 1 month. But in some condition, if it allows the shunting from the left to right, it is considered as one of the type of ASD. Okay. Third is the ostium primum. Primum means where it is somewhere lower. Okay. So it is the lower side. That means it is very close to the ventricular septum. So if in case if it is extending, it will extend with the VSD and it is, this condition is called as atrioventricular canal. So it is otherwise we can call it as partial atrioventricular canal. And the third one is, the last one is the sinus venosus. So automatically we have seen the middle, ostium secundum, ostium primum is the lower portion. So where may be the sinus venosus? Sinus venosus is situated at the top of the atrial septum. So where it is? It is top. It is close to superior vena cava, from where the blood is collecting from the top part of our body, from the head. So sinus venosus is situated close to the superior vena cava. It is at the top of the atrial septum. So, it may usually sometimes it may be associated with any pulmonary defect. Pulmonary defect may be the pulmonary vein is not connecting to the right side of the heart. Instead, it is connecting to the left side, or any other deformity can occur. So, usually sinus venosus may be associated with the other defect in the right pulmonary vein. So, these are the 4 types of ASD according to the location. Ostium secundum, patent foramen ovale, ostium primum, and sinus venosus ASD. According to the size, ASD is again classified: small defect, moderate defect, and large defect, or small ASD, moderate ASD, or large ASD. Small ASD means the diameter is somewhere between 3 to 6 mm. The diameter, if it is between 3 mm to 6 mm, it can be considered as a small defect. And if it is from 6 to 12 mm, it is again considered as moderate defect. If the size of the ASD, if it is more than 12 mm, it is considered as large defect. Again, the mixing of the blood happens due to, okay, that is depending upon the level of defect. So more the size of the defect, more mixing of the blood happens, more symptoms may come. So small defect is a diameter between 3 to 6, moderate up to 6 we can say, moderate 6 to 12 mm, and even the large defect is less than, okay, but if it is more than 12 mm, we can call it as a large defect. Now let us see the pathophysiology. Due to incomplete partition of the atrial septum, so what happened? There is a hole which permits the blood flow from the left atrium to the right atrium. So because of the incomplete partition of the formation of the atrial septum, there is a hole. It allows the blood to pass from left atrium to the right atrium. So what happened? Increased volume of blood comes to the right side of the heart. So right side of the heart get overburdened. So it get hypertrophy. More amount of the blood is coming so than the normal. So it has to the distensibility is more in the right side of the heart, especially right ventricle. So right ventricular hypertrophy occurs and increased blood, the whatever blood coming to the right side, where it goes through the pulmonary artery. So there is an increased blood flow through the pulmonary artery to the lungs. But then what happens? The pulmonary hypertension, continuously the pulmonary artery is overworked. So even if you are working normally, you may not be tired. If you're working more than normal, you may get tired easily. So what happened? The pulmonary artery, when it is for a longer period of time, the large amount of blood is flowing. It causes pulmonary vascular resistance to increase. Okay, now from here onwards, complication begins. When the pulmonary vascular resistance increases, slowly it prevents the blood flow and even the pressure within the right side is increasing. At one point, it became more than the left side of the heart. Now the reverse shunt occurs. Okay, that reverse shunt, if it occurs, what happens? From the right side, blood move to the left side. What kind of blood? Deoxygenated blood. So what kind of blood reaches to systemic circulation? Mixed blood is reaching to the systemic circulation. So baby is suffering from here. Complication comes, a baby is suffering from oxygen deficiency. It's only rarely it happens in ASD, but it is common in VSD. Okay, VSD is more dangerous than ASD. So in ASD, this complication if it develops. So we are doing medical care and even the surgical management to prevent the development of Eisenmenger syndrome. This reverse shunting is otherwise known as Eisenmenger syndrome. Okay, so what is the pathophysiology? What happened due to the incomplete partition or the development of the ASD septum defect? Blood flow from the right side of the from the left side of the heart to the right side of the heart. Okay, so what happened? There is increased blood accumulating in the right side of the heart. It is causing the distension of the right ventricle. Right ventricular hypertrophy forms, and where it goes, this blood from the right side of the heart goes through the pulmonary artery. So pulmonary circulation increases. So continuously pulmonary circulation increases. It causes the pulmonary hypertension occurs, and due to pulmonary hypertension, pulmonary vascular resistance increases, and finally what happens? It prevents the blood flow through the pulmonary vein. So the right side of the heart become more increase its pressure, and once the right side of the heart has got more pressure than the left side of the heart, the reverse shunt occurs. Okay, deoxygenated blood from the right side of the heart slowly mixes with the oxygenated blood in the left side atrium, and deoxygenated blood goes through the circulation. Okay, that is a complication that is called as Eisenmenger syndrome. Now let us see what is the clinical manifestations. Usually the infants and even the children with small ASDs are symptomatic. Okay, small and moderate ASDs also are remaining asymptomatic, and they will develop by third or fourth decade of life. That means 30th, before after 30 or 40 years of old, when they are in adulthood, they may develop congestive cardiac failure if it is not closing. And again, okay, if it is a large defect, we can see there can be decreased exercise. That means exertional dyspnea can occur. Okay, and there can be exertional dyspnea, or the baby is not able to. So automatically they will be more tired. Okay, that is a decreased exercise, and even dyspnea can have in case of a large defect. Now, what are the diagnostic tests or diagnostic evaluation? First diagnostic evaluation is the physical examination itself. Okay, so in the newborn assessment, usually we can see that split S2. S2 and S3 is heard in the newborn, and S2 is heard as a split, widely split S2 is the first sign. Second one, there is a systolic ejection murmur is heard, and usually it is heard at the left upper sternal border. It is heard at the left sternal upper border, left side of the sternal border. Okay, so that is the upper sternal border. And even in the older children, not only in the newborn, in the older children also we can hear the split and fixed second heart sound, lub dub. Okay, the dub can be heard as split second heart sound can be heard in the older children. Okay, next is the ECG. ECG shows right ventricular hypertrophy, right ventricular volume overload. And next is the chest X-ray. Chest X-ray is showing cardiac enlargement, especially the right side of the heart. Okay, and even cardiomegaly and even increased pulmonary vascular marking also can be seen. So there is marking for the increased pulmonary vascularization. And the last one is echocardiogram. Okay, echocardiogram and even the cardiac catheterization is done. These two diagnostic evaluation will define where the location exactly is and what is the size of the defect is and how much it allows the blood mixing. Okay, so the detail we will get through the echocardiogram and even through the you can add up even through the cardiac catheterization. So physical examination, ECG, chest radiography, echocardiogram, and cardiac catheterization. These are the special diagnostic evaluation techniques. Management. Let us see the management. First is the medical management. Usually in small ASDs, it will close by spontaneously. So spontaneous closure is commonly we can see. And prophylactically we give antibiotics to prevent infective endocarditis. To prevent, it is one of the complications of ASD and VSD. To prevent infective endocarditis, we give prophylactic antibiotics. And some children, moderate to large ASD, if it is present, they may develop with a congestive cardiac failure. So we should treat the children medically and allow them to take rest so that instead of going for a surgery, we are facilitating the spontaneous closure. So usually we don't go for any surgical correction in the infancy and we wait for the closure. Okay, so the spontaneous closure. So in that we can see that. Okay, so there can be a small defect, and medical management like bed rest must be given. And when we are providing the bed rest, we must provide head and elevation to the children. Bed rest with the head and elevation should be given, because when the child develops congestive cardiac failure, they have chest congestion and they will develop breathing difficulty and cough, such as symptoms they will be having. So give the head and elevation. And next we should give, okay, in order to remove the chest congestion, Lasix, diuretics can be administered, and to enhance the to enhance the cardiac activity, we provide digoxin. Okay, so diuretics can be given and even the digoxin can be given. Along with that, we should give frequent feeding And before the child would cry, we should feed the baby. We should not allow the baby to request or even ask for telling that they are hungry. So that is to prevent excessive cry. So frequent feeding, we should give high caloric diet, because there is a tendency, since they have the breathing difficulty, there is a tendency to have less feeding. So whenever we are feeding, okay, frequent feeding with a high caloric diet. So infant with CHF, okay, medical management is recommended with bed rest, with head and elevation. Diuretics must be administered. Digoxin must be administered. If the frequent feeding must be administered, the baby is not able to feed well, fluid, antibiotic, and even IV fluids can be given for the baby. So this is the medical management of a child with ASD. Non-surgical management of ASD. So it is a catheter device. By the use of a cardiac catheterization, we can place an implant at the site of defect. So it prevents the blood flow from the left side to the right side of the atrium. So it is an implantation of a connective tissue at the site of defect, depending upon the okay, by using the cardiac catheterization. And this actually, this use is this type of surgery is increasing, and again it is depending upon the nature of the rim. There should be good rim, and okay, it should be suturable site, okay, the okay, that is important. And again, so that is indication says that the secondum, it is commonly used in the atrium secondum and measuring 5 mm or more, but it should be less than 32 mm. Okay, it should not be more than 32 mm. And left to right shunt with the clinical evidence. Okay, so usually left to right shunt, the children with the clinical support we uses, and there must be enough rim, already I told you, and sometimes platelet adhesion can occur. And this platelet adhesion, if it comes, it prevents the connective tissue to grow around this implantation. And again, it can afterwards, the clot can get detached and there can be problem. So we must give clopidogrel or even aspirin to be given for the baby for after 3 to 6 months after implantation, to prevent the platelet adhesion. Okay, so this is the non-surgical closure of a management. Okay, if the child has got very large ASD, more than 32 mm we have seen, and if they shows very symptoms, very early the child develops the symptoms of the congestive heart failure, then we have to go for open heart surgery. Okay, so this surgery is commonly done in patients with the ostium primum and sinus venosus. Okay, a smaller defect, if it is a smaller defect, we can close it with sutures around. Purse string sutures can be done. Okay, sutures can get the side can get sutured. And if it is a large defect, we keep a patch over it through the open heart surgery, and we will be suturing at the side. Okay, so that is open heart surgery is done. And surgery is usually, we will not do surgery for infants until unless the child has severe symptoms, and before, once the Eisenmenger syndrome has developed, then the surgery can be a failure. So we select infants and even early toddlers for the surgery only if the child is at the verge of developing Eisenmenger syndrome. So at any cost, we have to prevent the development of Eisenmenger syndrome. If it develops once, then the surgery can get failed and the child can die. Okay, in ASD it occurs rarely. So we must make sure that, so that is why we are waiting till 2 years, and 2 to 4 years is the ideal time for the surgery. And again, surgery is performed in infancy only if the child has congestive cardiac failure and the child is not responding to our medical treatment. Then we will be forced to take up the children for the surgical care during the infancy and before 2 years. Otherwise, surgery is done from 2 to 4 years. So that is regarding the surgical management of ASD. Now, what are the complications which can occur after surgery? Post-op complications are cardiac perforations can occur during the surgery, and device implantation and even the patch we are keeping can get misplaced. So, device malposition and residual shunt. Even after doing the surgery, there can be the remaining of shunt, residual shunt, and vascular trauma. Okay, open heart surgery, and when we are doing, and even the cardiac catheterization, you know that we are manipulating from outside. There is high chance for trauma, is vascular trauma. And thrombus formation, I told you thrombus formation will prevent the development of the heart, and even it prevents the healing. So thrombus formation and atrioventricular valve regurgitation. So the valve is getting affected. So when the valve is getting affected due to surgical procedure, it can lead to atrioventricular valve regurgitation, and arrhythmias can develop, and infectious endocarditis. And if it is rarely, only 0.5 percentage, there can be sudden death with the children undergone ASD. So the major posterior complications are cardiac perforations, device malposition, residual shunts, vascular trauma, and thrombus formation, atrioventricular valve regurgitation, atrial arrhythmias, and infectious endocarditis, and rarely sudden death. Now we'll see other complications. Complications of ASD if we are not treating the children with ASD and if we are leaving the child naturally. So there can be the right-sided heart failure can occur, abnormal arrhythmias, abnormal rhythm can develop, and there can be, because clot can develop, CVA can be developed. Clot can form and can dislodged anywhere in the body, and CVA can develop, and shortness of so if it is, then the child can have less lifespan, shortened lifespan if it is not closing. So then very rarely we can have a child can develop with the pulmonary hypertension, Eisenmenger syndrome, and still we can see that the mortality is less than 0.5 percentage. For the complications are complications of ASD. If it is left untreated, that is the right-sided heart failure, right heart rhythm abnormalities, that is arrhythmias, and there can be high chance of cardiovascular accident, cerebrovascular accident, and shortened lifespan. And even less common serious complications include pulmonary hypertension. Eisenmenger syndrome is a complicated condition, serious complication, less common serious complication, and mortality is less than 0.5 percentage. And the nursing management of a children, we will see together when we are dealing with the cardiac surgeries. There we see together. So I'm not going into the nursing management now. You can study from your book itself. Your book has got sufficient, and pathophysiology and the points which is extra there in the note, you can add up. Take them. So we have seen the condition ASD, where there is a defect in the atrial septum, and through that blood is passing from the left side of the atrium to the right atrium, and it can cause trouble to the children if it is a large one, and if it causes trouble only to very few children. Now successful surgeries are available, non-open heart surgeries are rarely done, and even closed surgeries are common. Cardiac catheterization, through the cardiac catheterization itself we are trying to treat this condition, and many, naturally majority 70 to 80 percentage of the condition closes naturally. So it is one of the important question. It can be asked for difference between and short essay and all these things. So study well. Thank you.